pew, pew,
Pew. Pew pew.
See, it's already
P-U. I mean pew.
You can't be P-U and me.
Broussard. What up?
I took a bath.
You're pew pew.
Oh,
You're
what?
late. Yeah, Jason had to take a Hollywood bath.
So yes, it's going to be one of those live streams tonight. So.
Hey, Brenda. What's up, Brenda? Smoking reptile.
I wonder if anybody's ever said that to him on his job.
What?
You're late.
I hope not.
Me too. I hope you're never late when you get a call. So let's see. We got
I beat you to your own live stream.
Lonely Scout.
Lonely Scout.
Well, it's got April, Mark, Mimsy, Two Family, Broussard, Lonely Prepper, Mama Mitzi, Duncan, Smoking Reptile, Geeky Gardens, Linda,
Some guy.
Anita,
Look who
Wanda
has his
Lust.
favorite new shirt on.
Neona. So what is going on out there in YouTube land? Whoop. Mimsy, that's not all I got on tonight.
Gotta be careful how you get up. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Got on the kilt. What's up, D?
I bet she's fun. Dead or alive. What's up this
Dead or alive?
Saturday? Hello. Oh man, gonna bust a hip. No, I was just trying to keep it family friendly.
No dangling.
Mm-mm. No.
What a week. What a week. We're going to give everybody a few...
Watch out, he's ready for trouble.
few more minutes to get in here.
Really? You know, in that kilt, your butt cheeks flap a lot louder.
Okay, if we're going to start calling each other out, I'm going to start calling you out.
I'm not farting.
Not yet, but
No.
we just started on the live stream.
Look, I don't have to. Everybody. Yeah, see? I heard it. See?
So, I mean, since we're just sharing today,
Uh-oh.
why don't we share? You want to share? You seem like you're in a sharing mood.
Whatever. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Really?
Huh. Nothing to hide.
Okay.
Nice. You didn't have to share that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. All right. So, what a week we had. We were pretty productive this week. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
We had visitors again
Yep.
this
Friday.
weekend. Kinda.
Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thursday. Yeah, they come in Thursday evening.
Yep.
Afternoon.
Left this morning.
Yeah.
So-
Jason was threatening not to go outside to help him back his trailer down the driveway. He said, if I don't go outside, then he can't go.
Well, see, they add an extra buffer
Hey, Robbie Moore.
because smudge on a chain in my driveway,
Mm-hmm.
super duper deterrent.
Yes. Yes.
Policeman don't even come down to my house when smudge is here.
Mm-mm. Oh.
Now, when you get Smudge, Apollo, and Gizmo together, it's like we got bars.
Yep. Oh yeah, blame the dog.
So, well, last night we went to Sonny's barbecue.
Yum. Yum, yum,
We
yum.
met Blaze's future wife,
Mm-hmm. Yep, she was a cutie.
but Blaze don't even know it yet because Blaze wasn't there. He went to some college
Humans versus Zombies.
thing.
Nerdfest
Yeah.
2019.
And so
You're welcome, Cecilia. It's good to see you.
he was super excited about it all week.
He really was. Like, he was stoked at the idea.
and then came home, and he probably would have had more fun at.
Well, he was just disappointed because, like, it's the stuff he really likes, and he sees the potential of it being a really fun activity. But the only people that show up are the people that don't have anything better to do on a Friday night than shoot each other with Nerf guns. So it's kind of like that irony of, you know, I mean, what do you expect?
Kind of try to explain to him that we are not the norm. You weren't raised in the norm.
Right.
And he I guess he's just finally actually starting to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's...
Well, see, that's the thing, Broussard. I think that if it was a widespread thing, it probably would have been heavily attended by some pretty cool people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was shared just on the campuses. So it was like a college thing between Athens Tech and UGA. And it's a Friday night.
Yeah. Most
people are out at the bars on Friday night. They're not running around shooting each other with Nerf guns and wadded up.
And I think that, you know, if they would have
socks.
taken it away from Nerf guns and made it airsoft.
And that was the thing, like, they disqualified all of that. Like, you weren't allowed to... apparently, there's a new Nerf thing that's got these little balls that almost look like they're high-velocity... they're not paintballs, but they're like... They almost look like miniature golf balls, like plastic golf balls. And they're like... Pop, pop, like, they're pretty, like... hardcore. And they even disqualified those, so they're like, no, it has to be. But like, you look at their Facebook page and they've got some pretty cool, but like, as soon as I started scrolling through all the pictures, I was like, baby, I don't want to tell him, but it's gonna be
not gonna be your cup of tea, but go ahead and go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you gotta let him go out and go do stuff and have fun, and hopefully he hits it off with some people that he can hang out with, but the people that were there were just not really
his cup of tea.
Yeah, not really his cup of tea. So, speaking of cup of tea. Nice.
So, we went through this week. We got some things done.
What did we get done?
Well, I don't want to... Not making ice.
Yep.
I don't want to share too much because you're going to do a vlog about it.
Yes, tomorrow.
So, be prepared for that vlog.
No tackling.
Praise God. Look, I want to talk about that for a second because that was not a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
No. Because see, I knew you were going to say that. That's why at the end of the video, I put it in slow-mo. So that way y'all could see.
That was a takedown. That was awesome.
Y'all could back me up on these points here. Okay? You don't tackle somebody coming in like this. Okay? And you don't tackle somebody with this facial expression.
It was fun.
And so
Exactly, Kimberly. That's what it was. You gotta protect the girls. I wasn't gonna just come at you without protecting myself. That's why I did that.
You were so full of sakaka. The look on your face said it all. I'm gonna hit him in the breadbasket. I'm gonna make him go, ugh. And I'm gonna have some fun with
The
this.
best part was the laugh after you fell, because like you hear me just die and I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah, that was funny for me too. Cause see, the plan was Robin was going to come push me.
Yeah, I was supposed to just push him.
Yeah.
Would you play tackle football without protecting the boys?
That's not even.
Yes, it is.
No,
yes, it is.
No, we're not even in the same ballpark. We're not even playing the same sport. You were supposed to come in and like push. But
yeah, I was supposed to do like this, but instead I was like, bam!
Somebody said I'm gonna improvise and take some artistic leverage.
License.
Same difference.
Okay. Surprise on his face was a good. Yeah, he had no idea. Like, he thought I was just gonna come in and like shove him off to the side. And what you can't see is because he's holding the camera, and it wasn't one that has like where he can watch it, you know, because it
was the
do
GoPro.
That. And so he's holding it, and he's not paying attention to me, thinking I'm just gonna, because he didn't want to give it away that I was coming in to push him. But in 4K, the picture's much wider. So when he went to play it back, he could see my face.
It was like a light bulb went off. Like, I have the opportunity of a lifetime. Let me capitalize. I actually saw the little devil on her shoulder.
Yeah.
And it punched the angel that on the other shoulder
Square in
right in the mouth. Angel fell off. The little devil grabbed the collar and said, "Let's do this."
That's fun.
Yeah, maybe for you.
You should have had the first clue it was going to happen when I was like, "Baby, stand up here closer to the raised bed," because I knew I was going to knock the camera out of your hand. And I didn't want it to fall and hit the ground. I wanted it to hit the soil so it had a cushion.
And you know the funny thing about it is as you guys know, a couple months ago I told you that we are really turning our focus back to the Lord, back to God. Mm-hmm. And I listened to Damon Thompson Ministries any chance I get. And a lot of the lessons that I was listening to this week was all about trust.
Look.
About how you're supposed to open your heart and faith. Let me see if I can get this right. He says that faith reveals trust. Trust reveals love. Love reveals peace.
Okay.
Okay. And so basically how that falls out is that you can believe in, you can say in your mind all day long, Jesus is real. The book of the Bible is God's word. Mm-hmm. But until you open your heart and let that into your heart and trust that, it's just words up here.
Once you trust it.
Then once you start to trust it, then that fuels the faith. Mm-hmm. And then the trust goes to love. because you can't really love someone or something without trust.
Okay.
And then when you trust in the Lord, you ultimately have peace.
Mm-hmm.
I paraphrased the snot out of that whole 2-hour lesson right there. Just broke it down right there and probably messed it all up.
So the first part is you believe it. Ah, Mrs. Mountain Life, Montana. Awesome. What was the first part? If you... Faith.
Faith.
Okay, so I had faith that I was going to take you down.
Let's see. Look, do not twist
and then
this wonderful lesson
I trusted
of God into you. No, do not.
And then I trusted.
Do not.
I trusted that it was going to hurt you. And I loved the idea. And I was at peace with it.
See, that's why you don't have any friends.
No, I've heard that. I don't remember exactly how it's put, but at the end of the day, what it boils down to is once you have trust, you can ultimately get to where you're at peace with everything, and you no longer have any worries or and I like that. I like that lesson. All of his lessons have been very.
Well, it was like, remember when I told you guys that, I kept asking the Lord, where does he want me to, what book of the Bible you want me to be studying? Where do you want me to have me on? 2 Timothy. And it was all about, the part that I was supposed to focus on the most was all about fighting.
Right.
Arguing, confrontation. Well, I worked through that, and I don't seek out confrontation as much anymore. And now it's working on taking it from here and putting it in here,
mm-hmm.
in the way that it was meant to be, not by taking and having a bunch of check off boxes, say this prayer and you're doing this, and say this prayer and you're doing that, and blah 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 blah. It's about actually taking that information about God and
internalizing it
yeah.
Yeah.
And another one of the things that he said is, it is illegal. He says that a lot. He says, when he wants to emphasize a point, instead of saying that it's just wrong, you can't do this, he says it is absolutely illegal to believe that God is all-powerful, almighty, and then a little bit of, what was the word he used? But it meant caring. It began with a T. Okay. Anyway, but it was basically meant caring. And it's is that God is almighty and all-powerful, but just as how powerful he is just as caring about you and I. Mm-hmm. He cares about us just as much as he can be as powerful can be.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Francine.
So that's what I'm learning about today. And then Jeremiah, oh sweet Maya, turned me on to a book.
A book.
Really, and he kind of turned everybody on to the book in their one live stream. And it's Keep Your Love On by
Danny Silk.
Danny Silk. I am in like chapter 4 or 5. Chapter 4. Okay? I'm this much into the book. Okay?
About halfway.
I highly recommend this book, one, to every married couple out there, but even you single folks.
It just teaches you how to behave, just about how to think about things and what the expectation is of how you really should behave and how you should look at things.
Well, yes, and it takes you from being a powerless person to being a powerful person.
Right.
And you really, and one of the things, the hardest probably thing that's been in the book so far is coming to the realization that the only person I can control
is you.
Is me. I can only control my actions. I can only control what falls out of my mouth. I can only control what I do and what I let in.
And you know, when I was reading that, it kind of made me feel good a little bit, because one of the things I say all the time, and I had an instance with this today, is don't change who you are just because of the way somebody else behaves. Just like that, your mood should not dictate your manners. You know, just the way that you have to be a certain way all the time, regardless of little changes like that.
Yeah, you definitely had a keep your love on situation today that I probably might not have been able to keep my love on.
So today I had to go to Home Depot to pick up some paint for one of our projects. And Jason sent me, we had colors we were already using. And so we had the little stickers on the top of the cans that tell you the colors. Well, for some reason, the green one we had, either it had faded or they didn't put that sticker there. It was somewhere else. We couldn't find the numbers. So I had to go back over to where all the paint chips were and decide what color was close enough that would work. So I grabbed a color that was closest. We have been using Glidden paint. And so I wanted to be consistent and use the same paint, especially since we're going to be painting over and on the same, you know, in the middle of a bucket. So I wanted Glidden, but when I went over to Glidden, they did not have the color I was looking for. So I went over to the other side, and I guess it's Bear paint, and they had the green, and it was pretty much kind of like this green, a little bit lighter. And I grabbed it and I took it up to the table. Well, first thing I did was showed him the picture of the yellow paint, and he was a smart aleck then and was like, whoever took this picture doesn't know what they're doing. And I was like, and Blaze was with me. He's like, I can't see that. Can you see those last two numbers? And Blaze is like, let me see it. He's like, yeah, it's an 8 and a 6. Like, I could even see it. But whatever. He was an older guy. Again, I'm raised. You don't, no matter how an elder person behaves, you give them respect. I don't care how they are. So, yes, sir, yes, sir, whatever. So, he goes to start mixing that paint. Well, then we go to the next paint. I hand him the paint chip, and I'm like, you know, can you just go ahead and do this color, but in the Glidden? And he proceeds to lecture me on how, well, first he goes over to the machine and starts trying to mix, you know, get something that's similar, and Glidden doesn't have a similar color. So he tells me, I'm sorry, you're going to have to get this in the Bear painting. And I'm like, no, can't you just color match it and do it that way? Well, we're not, they frown upon that. We're not supposed to do that. Well, about that time, another gentleman, younger guy, came by and he's like, all you have to do is scan it. Just scan it, match it in the system, and mix the paint. I mean, like, not a big deal. So he begrudgingly goes and gets the paint, gets the color, puts it together. The whole time is telling me that it's not going to be exactly the same thing, and da-da-da-da. And then starts giving me a lecture on how he really shouldn't be doing this because they frown upon it, and, you know, Bear doesn't like people using their colors to be matched to a cheaper, less, you know, inferior paint, and blah, 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 blah. And he's just going on and on. And I guess he could see in my face that I was just like, I don't care about this. Just give me my green paint so I can leave. Like, I don't care about the reason why. Just mix the paint and let me leave. And he was like, well, do you understand? And I'm like, yep, I understand. And he's like, well, I mean, you know, I'm sure you don't care. And, you know, it's not that I really care. And I'm like, but you do care because you spent the last 10 minutes telling me about this, you know, and making a big, huge deal about it. But the whole time, Carol's sitting beside me, and Carol's like, she's ready to lose her top because she's more your personality. And so I was just like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is the paint done mixing? Can I have my paint? And so I was just like, whatever, you know. And then the other guy's just sitting there shaking his head. I'm sure he does this a lot. And so I was just like, I just want my green paint. Like, I don't really care what Bear wants or doesn't want. You guys have the equipment to match the color. Just put it on the paint. I don't care about the rest of it. And so he mixed the paint, gave it to me, and I just walked away. Well, we told Jason about it. He's like, do I need to make a call? And I'm like, it's fine. I am not going to let somebody else's behavior dictate how I'm going to behave. And so that was one of my moments of being a powerful person instead of a powerless person, and having somebody, and then I had another one, like, because I'm primed. So then I get into Walmart and my patience gets tested. And I just texted Jason real quick, and I'm like, will you please pray for me? Because my anxiety is way up and my patience is almost gone. And he's like, okay, done. And sure enough, I get up to the cashier, and she wants to talk about how she used to live in West Virginia and how they used to cook with lard all the time, because I had this big jug of lard, and you know, and then I was like, it's all right, we're okay. So yeah, so that was my test for the week.
And you did good.
Mm-hmm.
I would have failed miserably.
I truly believe that no matter how they behave, your elders, you have to respect them to a certain. You have to. It's just.
Yeah, but when they cross the line like he did.
But he wasn't belligerent, and he wasn't. He may have been a little condescending, but it was like. He was a crotchety old man, you know. You almost feel sorry for him. Like, he felt like he had to, you know, justify working there for $10 an hour and his knowledge, you know. And it's just like, I'm sorry. I don't really care.
Well, one of the things that this book referenced was another book about, and I think Jess talked about it in one of her...
She did.
In one of her devotionals.
Vlogs. It was the one about the cow print.
Yeah. When she's talking about what is your love language.
Love language. I believe that's the one.
Well, I'll be honest, and if they're in the back watching, I don't mean any disrespect. I watched that vlog, but I didn't digest that vlog.
It didn't hit you the same way it hit me, and Blaze and I watched it together. And it was probably one of the very first videos I watched all the way through of hers, because, you know, I don't have time to watch 20 or 30 minutes, you know, for the most part. And it just happened to be like a Saturday morning, really early, had my cup of coffee, and was listening to it. And so it even stuck with Blaze, because when we started talking about it, it's like, yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
What's the title of the book? So this one is called Keep Your Love On by Danny Silk.
By Danny Silk.
Now, the book you're getting ready to talk about is The 5 Love Languages.
Yes, The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
And I don't know who...
It's in there somewhere. It should be towards the front.
Yeah.
First, second chapter. Yeah, right.
Right in there, right in here. Right
5
in
Love
here.
Languages. Right here.
The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman.
Yeah, Dr. Gary Chapman. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Everybody's familiar with it, apparently.
Anybody wants to buy me that book, my address is 2516.
Yeah, we don't have that one. We went ahead and ordered. This is actually the library's copy. Yeah. But I went ahead. Hey, the honey's dead.
The honey's dead.
What's up? Kaylee, you and I have to talk. My daughter's got a crush.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, she saw Kaylee posted some pictures on Instagram of her son.
Yeah, we can't be friends anymore. But anyway, it's talking about the 5 love languages. I'm going to change the subject so I can keep my love on.
Keep my love on.
And see, I can time out a mod. Some guy. I ain't scared. Anyway, and as I was reading the descriptions
of the different You okay? Ear ringing?
It just... Yeah.
Got water in your ear. Yep, that's what I'm worried about, Kaylee. Anyway, let's not antagonize Jason. As you're reading about the 5 different love languages.
Like, when I was reading them, I was like, right off the bat, when I got to the one about quality time,
Mm-hmm.
I knew that was you and Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it right off the bat. And then I started reading about touch, and I knew that was Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat. Bam.
Right.
Dessa was the one that I was having a hard time with, and then I got to words of
Affirmation.
And I was like, that's Dessa. Because when I'm upset, when Dessa does something wrong, all I have to do is tell her she broke my heart, and
her world is crushed.
Beside herself.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I say, give me a high five, that's a good job, you could tell she's on cloud nine.
Yep.
Yeah. My love language is acts of service. And when I read the first, basically he tells you what the 5 are, and I'm kind of like, well, maybe I'm gifts, because I don't really, I like it when people tell me I did a good job, but my world doesn't evolve around it.
It's not, yeah, it doesn't.
And I don't like it when the only person
He doesn't
I like
being touched, and
the only person I like touching me is her.
And it's anyway.
And that's on the never mind.
Anyway. Hey, Pete.
And it was like, I like spending time with people, but I also really like spending time by myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he said in the description that if you get upset when you walk in the house and you see the dog hasn't been fed, or the kitchen is a mess and this and that, and you're kind of like, and your anxiety goes through the roof, I went, just me.
We'll get to that in a second, Josh. So the reason why this is important is that what he's talking about right now is how you receive love. When somebody does one of these things, that's how you feel loved. Mm-hmm. So I love it when people spend one-on-one time with me. It hurts me if I'm sitting and talking to somebody and they're not paying attention to me, or they're doing something else and not paying attention. Like, everything I'm saying is kind of going in one ear and out the other. That bothers me. I like to be able to be the center of attention just for the time of, when it's us. I want us to be, one-on-one kind of thing. Or even in a small group. I like it to be like, I feel wanted, I feel needed to be there.
You want to be included in the conversation.
Right. So that's how I define love. Jason defines love when people do stuff for him. So if somebody goes out of their way to order him a kilt, not that it's the gift of the kilt itself, but the fact that somebody went out of their way to say, Jason mentioned that he liked... Not funny! So, or they go out of their way to get your memeasurements and order you a kilt. Funny. I fell asleep on her the other night.
I know.
She was texting me, and I was like, I woke up the next morning and I got all these text messages. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was so tired. I was back and forth to Atlanta last week. I was useless. Anyway, so that's the way. But where this becomes interesting is if the person that you're wanting to love you, if they don't speak the language that you define as love, there can be this huge disconnect. So if I want to spend time with you, but you want acts of service, but I'm exhausted, so I don't have a lot of energy to do a lot of acts of service, so then you don't feel like I love you because I'm not doing acts of service to you, and I feel like you don't love me because the only time you want to spend time with me is when we're spending time together. No, I'm kidding. But so that's where the disconnect can come in. And so it's important to identify those and be able to learn to speak the language of of the person. And it doesn't even have to be your spouse. Like, one thing that Jason has done this week, which I thought was really cool, is Jason tried to take time to speak the language of each of us, of each girl, of Blaze, and of me. So I thought that was really neat that he took the time to be like, okay, this is not my love language, but I'm going to do my best to speak that language so that I can let you know that I love you in your language.
And it was very challenging. I must admit, it was very challenging. Again, I'm not a very touchy-feely kind of guy. Carol is. She always wants to hug. She wants to cuddle. But one of the kind of happy mediums is when we're sitting in the living room, and whether we're all just talking or if we're watching a TV show or something, if I just put my hand out and I just pet her head.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just a very simple touch is enough. Doesn't have to be her hanging on you.
And it changes. And look, this stuff is for real. Because I actually watched some of my family members, their attitudes changed, their demeanor changed, their spirit changed. They went from being kind of down in the dumps to chipper, happy,
more productive.
Mm-hmm. So these things kind of work. So if you're feeling in your household that you're not loved or not wanted, you definitely might want to pick up that book and learn about love languages and then pass it around to the people in your family so that way everybody can understand what a love language is. Because this is no joke. This is no BS. We're not getting sponsored by either one of these books or anything. This is in my opinion, this is like a legitimate breakthrough. I know these books are probably like 5 or 6 years old, but it's a legitimate like scientific breakthrough for me, because then it's like, okay, I can look at even friendships and go, okay, he's like, Jeremiah's an act of service dude. He's just like me. He's an act of service. He's act of service and gifts. He likes gifts. I like gifts. And so like Chris, single dad, I think he's words of affirmation more than he is. I think he's also acts of service, but I think he's more words of affirmation. That's just, I could be wrong, and it's one of those things that you can get a deeper, more intimate relationship with people and have friendships will change, your relationship will change, and it will, how do I say this? Help me out here. You're better at this than me. When you become a more powerful person and you're not using the other person as a crutch,
there's more depth to the relationship.
Yes, depth. That's the word.
There's a secondary layer there, because the thing is, I think with a lot of friendships is they're very that whole platonic thing where everything is on the surface. And I think that when you start to get to know each other at that level, I think it puts a whole nother dimension into the relationship.
Yeah.
Is that why I'm getting more Marco Polos?
Yep. Yep. That's exactly why. I want to have a deeper, more meaningful friendship with you, and so I'm trying to learn your love language.
Yeah. So, and that, the other thing too that I like about it is once you know what the what your partner or the other person's love language is, you can identify, even if they're not trying to speak your love language, if they're speaking what they're fluent in, you could start to look around and go, oh, that's why he did. Like, for instance, this week, there was a lot of things done to my house while I was away at work. They were acts of service. I'm not an acts of service person. But I didn't have a whole lot of time to spend with everybody this week because I was in Atlanta twice this week. So I didn't get a whole lot of time to spend with everybody. So instead of speaking that love language, he reverted back to what he's fluent in. So there was a lot more acts of service than anything. Although on Thursday when I was coming back from Atlanta, I was like, I know you like to give gifts, so can I stop and get some yarn?
That was wrong on very many levels.
I know you always want to do stuff for me, so do you want to tell me I can go get some yarn?
But if you see me, if I seem like I'm acting differently towards you,
that's why.
That's why. That's why. I'm like, there are two individuals, I know they were in the chat right now, that I am racking my brain trying to figure out their love language. And I think it's just going to be kind of a hit and miss, and maybe they're listening, and maybe they'll...
Oh my God.
Maybe they'll send me a message and say, hey, dummy, this is it. There's some people that I have absolutely no desire to know what their love language is.
That's kind of sad.
It's kind of a joke for a certain individual that just came in.
But I know you want to know.
Yeah.
You just have to buy me chocolates, Jason. That's my language.
No, that's danger. That's danger, Will Watcher. Danger. What you buying April chocolates for?
Yeah, right. I wasn't even thinking on my end. Husband going, why is a man buying you chocolate? Because I wouldn't be upset about it because I would know. But, like, it would be really funny because we haven't met her husband. So that would be kind of bad.
Now, saying all of this, I want to say this.
Donna says that's not nice. You should know what her language is.
How does she think? Why did she think I was thinking about her?
It's the ponytail and skirt.
I want to say this. I really...
He'd be glad he didn't have to buy it.
all joking aside, I really want to encourage everybody to get these two books and read these two books. Now, I know some of us, like Tim Beverly, probably have to have somebody read it to you.
Oh, yeah, there's no pictures, Tim. Sorry. It's all words.
But we, as a group, I know what your love language is.
It's called martinis. No.
All joking aside.
You're not going to get through this without joking.
I can if you help.
Okay. Which books? I showed up late. Keep Your Love On and The 5 Love Language by Dr. Gary Chapman.
And I got a really major point to...
Okay, I'll let you get through it.
To this. I really think everybody... we got a small amount of folks in here tonight. We got 45 people. Okay? If every one of you went out, got these books, read these books, and then gave them to a friend. Mm-hmm. And they read them and gave them to a friend. Within a year. And if everybody applied what they learned in these books, within a year, you would see a difference in our culture. You would see a difference in our society. We had a fellow homesteader this week, yesterday, as a matter of fact, get hit with a loss, because more than likely somebody that they trusted stabbed them directly in the back. We had a homesteading family that they lost. Somebody came on their property and stole 6 of their chickens.
No, turkeys.
Turkeys. I'm sorry. Turkeys.
Full grown, ready to slaughter turkeys. Just wait until November.
And if you would know this person for like 5 minutes, you would know that he and his wife are the type of people that they would honestly give you everything they had just to help you.
If somebody had really needed that turkey,
He would have gave it to him.
he would have given it to him. Like, it wouldn't have
big
been a
deal.
problem.
Here, brother, here.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
And it really breaks my heart, because his homestead is kind of like ours. It's tucked back in there. You
Which
have
is
to
good
know,
and bad.
Yeah, you have to know that it's there, and you have to know what's on there to be able to come on there, grab it, and go.
To it, right? And they had to know their schedule, because they came while everybody was gone. You know, they didn't try to do it in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep. They waited intentionally until everybody was
gone.
out. Yeah.
And so we reached out to a friend of ours, and they're gonna hook them up with some turkeys, and that's the homestead love carrying on.
Mm-hmm. And what I think is crazy is, we talked to this family that lost the turkeys, and basically, first of all, told them they could come to our place if they wanted to for Thanksgiving. We would hope we would have at least one turkey ready, and they could come. And of course, he was like, "No, it's okay, it's all right." Well, then we started racking our brains, and we figured out a resource that we knew of that more than likely would be able to help them out.
Well, they're the same type of personality.
Now, keep in mind, he never asked us to do that at all.
Mm-mm.
And so we went and contacted that family, and they were gracious and willing to help. And even when we told him that we had done this, he was still kind of like, "No, I don't want to." Basically, I don't want to put anybody out, because I don't want it to affect any more than what's already been done. I don't want what happened to me to affect somebody else as well.
Right.
And when we assured him that it wasn't, that they were blessed and that they would be willing.
And that if he didn't call him, I was going to come out there and kick him in the teeth.
Yeah. So now they should be. Everything should be okay, but it's still not okay. What state are they in?
Homestead, send me an email and I'll send that to you. I'll send you that information.
I know why you're asking. Yeah, it's not.
I'll send you that information. I'm just afraid that if I give that out, it'll be very easy to figure it out.
And we don't want. That's not why we're telling this story. So, but all that to be said, that there's definitely people out there that are not speaking that love language, and
And so you guys know one of the guys that been around for a while. I do my best to try to lead by example. And so those of you that I'm really, really close to, or those of you that I'm getting really close to, I may be asking some questions that you may feel are uncomfortable. That's just me trying to
get
learn.
to know the love language, right?
Because I'll be 100% honest. The little bit of a challenge that it was for me to put into action the love language that I knew of my own family.
Wow.
What am I trying to say? You just throw me off. What does it say?
Francine just ordered a copy of each of the books for our library. She'll have them sent to our P.O. box. Francine, if you'll just send us an email, we can send you that address.
Thank you.
But that's
Francine.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
So you're going to be asking a bunch of your friends. You said for as difficult as it was for you to do that with your kids and your wife, that you expect.
No, it's not that I expect. I saw just I guess it was like 3 days, the impact that it had on the relationship between myself and my kids, and the impact that it had on us.
It was probably the heaviest hit was Blaze, I think. I think Blaze really, I think when you're young like that, you always think your parents don't know any better and they don't care, whatever. And I think that, because we sat down at dinner, because you had just read about it, and so you're like, I want to talk about something while we're sitting here eating.
Yeah, and you can't go nowhere because I'm feeding you.
Right. And so we started talking about it, and Blaze brought up her, Jess's video, and he was like, so he kind of knew where Dad was going with this, and started talking about it, and we started kind of going around what we thought each, person was.
Well, he called me out on a carpet, which, for father to son, anytime your son tries to call you out on the carpet, you're kind of like, you don't even know yet.
Right.
And the look on his face when I said, well, okay, I'll tell you what yours, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Right.
And when I said, you are the quality time person, he didn't know what to do.
He just stopped. Well, he stopped, and then he went back to eating, shoveling food in his mouth, just put his head down. And you're like, well, am I right? And he's like, keep talking. Keep talking.
Yeah. And so I purposely made it my goal to, if he was out in the shop tinkering around, because Blaze has certain tasks he has to do before he goes to school, before he goes to work. And Blaze is very good with his hands. He took to construction, carpentry, woodworking, all that kind of stuff. He took to it like a duck to water. And he enjoys it. That's his hobby. That's what he does to de-stress.
Right.
And so there are times, that's why you see a lot of the building videos that we have, a lot of the B-roll is Blaze doing it. That's because that's Blaze's de-stressor. When he has a bad day at work or at school, he comes to me and said, what can I build? And so we have a list. And he just comes in, looks at the list, and he goes off, and he'll stay until it's built.
But the one thing that changed, though, is that you look at that as his time to be by himself to de-stress. But when you went in there and actually just kind of hung out while he was doing his thing, or you did your own thing,
made small talk, and then I started just, I knew that some of the boards needed to be sanded, so I went and just started sanding the boards and just stacking them off to the side for them. That made...
Well, and the other thing y'all did is y'all prepped together this week. You cooked dinner together.
Oh, we rocked dinner.
Yeah, and so they got to spend time in the kitchen together doing the same thing. And so you could see...
We kicked dinner square in the face.
Yeah, that was really good. We had London broil for dinner.
Yep.
It was very good.
And the kitchen was almost
completely
perfect.
Clean.
Yeah.
Before dishes were done.
We laid the smack down on dinner that night.
Yep.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what we made dinner. We made dinner
Lady.
We owned it.
So but you noticed that just in that, that it,
it had a little, it had a little bit of effect on a relationship, not as much as the stuff with Carol. And I think that's just the difference between boys and girls. And I think that's the difference with girls, and I may be wrong with this because I don't...
You're not a girl.
45 years old. I identify as being an old 45-year-old jarhead man. And to me, girls are more forgiving. Girls are easily to a point to leave some things in the past. And girls recognize faster than dudes do. Because we're dudes. It's just... Dudes, we're wired differently. And we just kind of like, why is he acting all crazy?
Uh-huh.
You know?
Right.
Or we're automatically, all right, what's he want? He's over here being obsequious. What's he want?
Or like, when you were asking me about my time when I was going to be done yesterday, and Blaze's first thing was, are we not moving fast enough on Dad's timetable today? And
that
I
really
said,
hurt my feelings.
I know it did. And I said, have you really forgotten that the whole reason, like, you want to go to this cool thing tonight? He is doing everything in his power to make sure that you get there on time. And it was like it hit him because it wasn't the normal love language. Mm-hmm. So it didn't occur to him to think that that's what that was. And so, yeah, it was, but once I pointed it out to him, he was like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. Girls learn early how to internalize feelings. I've been told girls are easiest deceived and most deceitful. What do you think? I think I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I think I agree and disagree. And I'm not just saying that because there's like 40% women in here. There are some girls that, and I'm not saying this to be offensive, but I think there are some girls out there that their father failed them. And they are easily deceived because they're very trusting. And they don't know. And there's a lot of dudes out there that are not gentlemen. They don't have any honor, and they take advantage of that. And a lot of them are in fields where they need to have the most honor. Mechanics, plumbers, electricians, police officers. And the level of honor that is in the male species today is utterly disgusting.
Paint mixers. Yeah. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of honor out there. And
I would like to know what happened to the fathers that teach their young men that you open a door for a lady. That
even if you don't know them.
Yeah. That you do not take advantage of someone's ignorance. Just because they don't know the difference between a spark plug and a freeze plug doesn't give you the right to take advantage of that.
Exploit it, right.
One of the things that I did with Blaze at a very early age, and you guys heard me talk about this, I made sure Blaze has the basic concept and the basic understanding of everything. He can put in an outlet, he can put in a light fixture, he can wire a breaker box.
Can change his oil.
Yeah.
Can do all that stuff.
He can do all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's not because I wanted my son to become an electrician, a plumber, a mechanic.
Right.
I wanted my son to be protected against those people out there that don't have any honor. They don't have any integrity. And this starts... Ooh, y'all done got me on a soapbox tonight. This starts...
At home.
At home. And the bad thing is, all of this dishonor and lack of integrity has trickled all the way up into the highest held elected office in this nation.
Yep.
Being an American used to mean something. Being an American meant you had honor. You had integrity. We used to lead the world in innovation, steel. We used to produce some of the strongest steel on the planet. We used to lead the automobile industry. Detroit was all about cars.
Yep. Coal. Uh-huh.
Where did that go? Where did it go? Where did it go that you used to be able to let your kid go around your neighborhood with his little red wagon slapped full of the tomatoes or the pumpkins that he grew in your backyard garden and walk around the neighborhood and sell them for $0.25, and you didn't have to worry about your kid getting snatched?
Mm-hmm.
Where did the honor go? Where did the love go? Where did being a neighbor had a certain definition? And that definition of a neighbor is not the same definition of neighbor that I grew up with.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you used to live in a neighborhood.
So, my neighborhood was a bunch of townhomes that were connected. So it was a series of maybe 10 to 12 in one building, and then 10 to 12 in another building, 10 to 12, 10 to 12. So it was this big cul-de-sac. And I was telling Jason that there was a lady on the corner that was a widower, and we used to go to her house, and she would make us, like during the summer, she'd make 5 or 6 of the kids lunch. Just because we would keep her company. Then there was there was a cop down on the other end that was really close to where all of the honeysuckle bushes were. So we would sit back there and pick honeysuckles all day. He'd come out, he'd grill out, we'd all eat, whatever. There was another lady, I'd go into her house, she used to roll sushi for us. I had another lady that taught me how to do cross stitch. I mean, and it was nothing for us to just go into somebody's house.
Yeah. We used to get the run of the neighborhood, run of the streets, be home. Remember this? Be home by the time the streetlights come on.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that nowadays.
Mm.
And this is where it all points back to. Okay? And it falls on our shoulders, guys. Dads. It falls on our shoulders. Now, I know a lot of you out there were dads. Anybody can be a father. Anybody can be a father. That is straight biology. Okay? It takes a man to be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a man. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by a man is you gotta have a backbone. You gotta be able to say, you know what? I can't go watch this football game right now because my kid needs me. I can't go hang out at the bar with the boys because my kid needs me. Mm-hmm. My family needs me. Those were all great and fun things to do when you were single. But now you got a child. You got a family.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to put those childish behaviors away. You have to put them away, put them aside, and grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do the father things. You got to play catch with your son. You got to correct your children when they're acting a fool. Now, I'm not saying you got to take them out to the woodshed and beat the snot out of them every time. No. Mm-hmm. But there are times that you need to have conversations with them and say, hey, let me tell you about a word. Let me explain to you the definition of this word called integrity. Mm-hmm. Let me explain to you this definition of this word called honor.
Mm-hmm. And on the other end of it, not just take your sons out there and to teach them these words, but to also to teach your daughters to expect it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. We have some people who all they have is boys. And then we have some people all they have is girls. So, yeah, maybe having the talk with your son is not pertinent, but teaching your daughters to expect that and expect nothing less than that can be a game changer.
Yep. And stop being afraid to teach your children about God.
Can I have some of your drink?
Yes, ma'am.
I drank
that one, and I think this one's still good to go, and it's sweet tea. Here's my question. You can grab any history book that you want. Any history book. You can walk in off the shelf, grab a history book, and if it says U.S. history on it, and it was written by somebody that has the doctor by his name, you can hold it up to any person on the planet and ask them if what's in this book is true, and 98% of them will tell you yes. Mm-hmm. They don't know the guy that wrote it. They don't know anything about it. Why do we have such a hard time of believing the Bible as being true? Because at the end of the day, the Bible's it's a history book. Everything in it happened long before we got here. Long before. Just no different than there's not one person in this chat, that can tell me what George Washington smelled like when he crossed the Delaware, because we weren't there.
Right.
But we take it as gospel that he got on that little flat bottom boat and crossed that Delaware in the middle of the winter.
Right.
So why do we have a hard time believing that Jesus got on the donkey and rode into town? Or why do we have such a hard time that Jesus was able to calm a storm? I don't understand it. I can't wrap my brain around it. And it goes back to what I was talking about. A lot of my lessons were this week was about taking the information from here and bringing them in here. And I think a lot of us are and I could be wrong. I know some of my biggest hiccups about talking to my children about God and about Jesus and about the love of the Lord was because I felt inferior. I didn't feel like I knew the right way to talk to them about it. When all I need to do is have a simple conversation. And I failed as a dad doing that then. Not having that issue right now. Of course, it's a little bit on the late side now because I've got the teenage rebellion and everything that I've got to deal with. But we are having those conversations. That's another great thing about being a dad. You're going to sit down in that chair. You're going to listen to me bump my gums whether you like it or not. I like that. I guess that was Mama that said that.
Yeah, fathers teach daughters about relationships and how they treat their mothers. Mothers teach their daughters how to treat men by the way they treat their fathers.
And the hardest thing ever is learning to trust. Because a lot of people will look at you and they say, well, where was God at on 9/11? Where was God at when, all these people died in one of these mass shootings? Why did the Lord let that happen? And I can't answer that.
It's not for me to understand.
It's not for me to understand that.
Nope.
It goes right back to it being illegal to believe that God is powerful. He's all powerful, all knowing, all powerful, and that He doesn't care. He doesn't care about me, or He doesn't care about this. We all had bad things happen to us. It's where we choose to be powerful or powerless, and how we interpret these things and how we go about taking from what's up here.
Good night, Southern Blessed.
And bringing it in here.
If God hadn't have used Judas, it would have been someone else. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Bible says when it rains on the unjust, it also rains on the just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, does anybody know, did Green Dream go on?
I have not seen it. I didn't get a notification.
Because we'll keep talking if y'all want to, but if I don't want to go into Green Dream's time. Can anybody tell me if they went on or not?
I don't see anything yet. Mm-mm.
We have to... I honestly believe that we are exiting the church age, and that we are entering the age of enlightenment. Because I honestly believe that your modern brick and mortar churches, a lot of them, not all of them, have become a business.
Good night, Broussard.
It's become a business. It's about how many people I can get to say this prayer.
How many butts are in the church?
How many people I can get in this church. How much are we getting in offering? Blah, 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 blah. And they judge their success or their relationship with God on those factors and that alone. But let me ask you this. How many times have you been into a church and you've had the emotional pull and you went down and they read Romans Road to you and you said the sinner's prayer and then they dunked you real quick and then whoosh,
they're gone.
Nothing else. How many times has that happened?
So I like what Cattywampus said. It says God never gives you more than you can handle. However, that means that He never gives you more than you can handle when you're with Him.
Yes.
Exactly. Even our church has changed focus to home-based study with church support.
Cattywampus. Now, is this Mr. Famous Detective?
I think so.
Cattywampus?
I think so. Isn't it usually him that comments?
Or
it might be my hero.
Or is it Miss First Amendment Cattywampus?
And he wasn't saying that others wouldn't put on you more than you could bear, or that you yourself there together wouldn't take on more than you should.
We need to have you guys come over again. We need to do a cookout, Cattywampus.
Those are people who know how to keep your love on.
Yes. They have to. They have to. And there are also people that you will never be able to lie to. By the way. I'm going to put it out there. There's just... They'll know. They're like... So...
Speaking of which, so I mean it's not really that close, but we're going up to Cab Farmers Market tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys doing anything tomorrow? You want to meet at the Cab?
We're gonna be up there tomorrow. We're even taking Blaze with us tomorrow. We're gonna all go together. We're all excited.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway, we probably do need to kind of wind it up. It's almost 9:30, so we do want to get kind of an early start tomorrow, so that we're not there when it's super late and everybody's there all at once. And then hopefully we'll be able to come back home and do something with some of the stuff that we get while we're there.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. I know Blaze is super excited because Blaze... there you go. Lauren's working. I felt so bad for her. You know the day that we had it was Friday the 13th this year. Mm-hmm. Friday the 13th and a full moon. It was her birthday. Or like the day before. It was like right around her birthday. So she was taking off the rest of the weekend, but she had to work Friday the 13th. And I was like, sweetheart, I'm praying for you. Because I can't even imagine. And she said that it was so hot. She was like, I feel like I'm melting. I'm not even worried about people being stupid. I just feel like I'm going to like die.
So I wonder sometimes. See, this is why I could probably never be a law enforcement officer, because one, I'd get to a point where if I was chasing somebody, I would probably I'm tired of running and just shoot him in the leg.
And that is why you are not.
Or if because see, I got pepper spray qualified at embassy school, and so I know exactly how much of an attitude adjuster that tool is.
Right.
That I would probably overuse that.
That's why you're not in law enforcement. Yeah. You got it, Anna. We'll definitely Marco Polo you tomorrow.
So, because that is a job that you have to keep your love on. Mm-hmm. And it's
especially when people are just stupid.
Yeah, and you've got to have integrity, and you've got to have a high level of honor.
Right.
And let me tell you, those two
absolutely
have it.
Yep, absolutely.
Those two have it.
Yep. Most definitely.
And look, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I ever commit a crime and Jason comes walking in the room, I'm just gonna spill my guts. I'm just gonna be like, look, we're not even gonna play. I'm just gonna go ahead and ride it out. or you know what? After what they shared with us, and I'm gonna let this cat out the bag. I thought about like calling his maybe one of his supervisors or something for like April Fool's Day.
No.
And let them bring me in, and then I'm just gonna be in the box. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
He has a way with words. Yeah.
And just go in there and go to sleep.
No. I love Kimberly Williams said, I work in customer service and I took Friday the 13th off. I agree. I think I tried to shy away from my phone that day too. I was like, I just don't even want to be involved. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed visiting with them. Of course, my daughters dimed me out about my love of serial killers.
I'm just happy that they're in here, because with that bit of information, we lost so many friends. Yes, they come in and they see your encyclopedia of psycho killer books. They're kind of like, I don't know if I really want to.
I don't know how comfortable I am with much.
She knows too much.
It is a little peculiar how, like, I think it's just the way my brain works. I am a
Watch, it's gonna drop down like 5 people are gonna be like,
I'm a very weird. I don't want anybody to really be inside here. Like, I overthink things way too much.
Yes.
like really overanalyze, like to a fault. And then the other thing is, I am fascinated with human behavior in general. Like and that probably goes along with the overanalyzing things. And so I can look at people's behavior and, that whole thing, don't tell me, show me. I can look at somebody's behavior and be like, look, no matter what they said, they might have said something ugly to you, but I'm telling you right now, that was not their intention. And that happens a lot, right? We'll have some things where somebody will come off and say something to you or post something or something, and you get upset, and I'll be like, no, the behavior's doesn't fit. And so I think that is my pull towards being interested in serial killers, because of all of the behavior.
It almost didn't get you a second date. If we wouldn't have been friends first, before we decided to pursue the relationship, it almost didn't get you a second date.
Yeah, and my kids, growing up, my kids always knew.
Because you kept that part tucked away. For almost a year, you kept that stuff tucked away from me. I'm not going to let him see that part. I'm going to let him come into the living room.
Don't put April and I in the same room. She said, with your knowledge of serial killers and my knowledge of the human body. Send it, D. I am fascinated. Like, when the whole thing was going down with the DC snipers, I was totally engaged in what the dynamic was between the two when they were doing the profile before they even located who these people were. They were looking at what the relationship was between the two of them.
Can we change vocabulary just a little?
What?
Look. Well, you're talking about the DC snipers, and you're saying that you were fascinated.
I was.
Well, can we turn it down?
Intrigued.
There we go.
I was intrigued.
Turn it down.
My all-time, I am intrigued.
Killing it small.
I absolutely, any information I can get about Ted Bundy is just fascinating to me. Fascinating is the right word. I learn more and more. You'll just hear snippets here and there, and I just think, and at the same time, I'll use some of the things that I've learned about these serial killers to teach my girls what to not fall for. What
I get, that.
We had a situation happen the other day, and Jason went, a whole different direction, and I was like, well, what if this person wasn't really this person? And he was like, I didn't even think about that. And I was like, look, Ted Bundy used to put his arm in a sling. It was completely functional, but he would pretend his arm was broken. Women felt bad for him, and that was it. They were done. And he was like, oh my God. And I was like, so, some of the stuff that I've learned, makes sense why you guys have so many pigs.
I was just that is scary. That is scary, because I was waiting for you to finish. I'm going to say, look, this is why I don't like you talking about this, because you're so fascinated about it, and we have 30 pigs. And people are like,
Well, we were talking about that at their house.
They could have forgot about that. Let it go.
No, they didn't forget about that, because they were telling us about how there was a case. You've got to imagine that some of these things, when you watch Criminal Minds and things like that, by the way, that is my show, just saying, but that's the thing, is that these stories that they come up with for their plots are not just stuff that they come up with. They're stuff that happens, that's why Donna can't watch Criminal Minds, the pigs episode. It happened in the Hannibal series too. That was, fiction, but was it fiction? Just saying. Anyway, back to something.
Can somebody
totally
help
different.
me understand how we went from talking about Jesus to Hannibal Lecter?
See, I don't like Snapped, because there's not really a whole lot that goes on there. It's a trigger, and then bam, something happens. And this is I like to see stuff start. I'll give you an example. Jason was doing a class where he had to write a paper about the death penalty. And you had to watch that one video that the guy was like, one way we could fix the death penalty is by basically intervening when they're 3. Like, we can recognize that at 3 or 4 years old that, you know, something happened in their life that causes them to go down that path. And so if we can just intervene at that age, then we won't have to have the death penalty. Which, don't even get me started on that. But I love the idea.
Now, see, that would be a conversation I'd like to have with
What?
Caddy Wampus about that video. About that TED Talk.
It was a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And it was a guy that
I'd like for them to I might send you guys that link to that video and let you guys read it. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to get a very sentence fragment back.
No, Hannibal Lecter didn't eat pigs, but there's a scene in one of the movies. I believe it's the Hannibal movie.
You're not reading what she said.
Oh.
That's the reason why they don't eat pigs. I'm gonna just.
Never mind.
What?
Anyway,
I was letting you guys know that the kitchen has been cleaned.
can I get some ice water? Anyway, so
Yeah, your mom got us on a whole different soapbox tonight.
You know what I would like to?
What?
A tortoise.
You know what? Come in here. Okay, here's is the this will pull us back into a we can still have friends conversation. Somebody wants a tortoise. Mom is saying no. I'm okay with it. I think it would be cool.
I mean,
I'm freaked out by him.
why?
I want to see him at the zoo. I don't want to see him in my backyard.
But and this is the part that I'm having a very no, not a turtle, a tortoise.
A tortoise. A
tortoise.
land
Big ones.
turtle.
Yeah, but you're gonna be like 40 before he gets that big.
Exactly.
They stink. She wants to keep it outdoors.
Well, in the beginning, he's not gonna probably be but like that big around.
She can have whatever she wants.
in a basically kind of a
tortoise soup.
in an aquarium,
Yep.
you know, and she'll have to keep that. But then when it gets to a certain size, it'll have to go outside. It'll have to have its own little enclosure, and she can bounce it around. To me, he's another grass cutter. He's another thing that's going to go out, cut my grass, and of course he won't probably be that size to be able to do that.
Holy crap. Geeky Gardens. I've got a turtle I'll have to account for in my will. He's 40.
Nice.
What does he look like? Hey, Geeky Gardens, you have our email. Can you send us a picture? I would love. I'm sure Gizmo will be super nice to it. I don't
Yeah.
think so. Night, Josh. That's an animal her grandkids will have to take care of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what
And I think that would be cool because
Right.
she's going to be the one that takes over the homestead. Blaze has already said that he doesn't want to really have anything to do with it. He'll come back, and Blaze will be the one that comes back to help her when it's time to harvest peaches, when it's time to harvest the muscadines, when it's time to do this or time to do that.
she needs help building something. He'll,
Yeah.
you know. But
He'll
he doesn't
come
wanna
around for
live-
that. But
right,
he does
doesn't
not
wanna
want to live here and do the day-to-day.
Mhm.
Neither does Carol. Now, Carol will probably be her vet,
Right.
but she's probably going to be the one that we hand the reins of the homestead over to. So, it'll be another lawnmower for her. And I would have to do some research, but
Yeah, he'll come when it's time to eat.
but I'm pretty sure tortoise poop is probably some good fertilizer.
I don't know. Carol's moving to Louisiana.
Probably.
I don't doubt it. I had one in my classroom. It only went to the washroom in his water. Yeah, he wouldn't be living in a small confined space for long. I just don't want, and I guess the thing is the timetable, I probably need to be more realistic, because I keep, in my mind, keep thinking about the ones that you see.
You're thinking, do you know how old that turtle is?
I know, but they still,
that tortoise at like the Greenville Zoo or the Columbia Zoo or the Atlanta Zoo, they are a couple 100 years old.
Just saying. Yeah, how are they on eating fish out of ponds? Just keep them away from the pond.
They're land animals.
Right, but they'll still go into the water to get some food, I'm sure, or sit at the edge.
They're plant eaters.
They're all plant? They don't eat fish at all?
You're sure? A tortoise.
I think.
I don't know.
That's a question that you need to find the answer to.
Mm-hmm. I just don't like the idea of like taking a stroll around my property. They're plant eaters. I don't like the idea of taking a stroll around my property, say when I'm 60, and I'm walking around and I look down and there's this tortoise
But a
trying to
long neck.
eat my feet. And my dude is just a painted slider. Ah, he's 40, and it's a slider, and that's a turtle, not a tortoise. Yeah, wow.
Well, the painted sliders that we have in this pond are probably close to that age.
Yeah. I know snapping turtles eat fish and baby ducks, but they're turtles. They're not tortoises.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about one that's on land, that, like the ones that you see where, like when they're older, they look like dinosaurs almost in a shell. Like they're old, they're... Anyway.
I think it would be cool.
You'll still be able to outrun it. That's true. That's true.
I think it would be cool to watch it grow up over the years.
Uh-huh.
To watch it go with her or stay here. Either way. And like I said, if she doesn't want it when she starts her family, then we can donate it to a zoo.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Or eat it.
I don't think I'd want to eat it.
Turtle soup, baby.
I don't think I'd want to eat it.
I'm just kidding. Wow. My uncle's has lived under his shed my whole life. A toddler could crawl faster. Yeah, they are very slow. That's true. Yeah, I don't have the fear that, like, one's going to outrun me. I'm just talking about, like, I'll be walking along, not see it, and, like, it'll startle me.
I want to stick a GoPro on its head.
Look, with the way that their neck...
Again, that is the
That's
one
not
thing
really,
you
that's
really
not really
not
helping me with
helping.
my argument, is it?
All of those pictures that you keep showing me where their neck's like this long and it's like... No.
They're getting food.
No bueno. Mm-mm. Not happening.
But they're not aggressive.
Okay.
So, here's the deal. If you guys think that... Now, one of the things that we made with Ladessa is that she has to earn the money.
Yep.
Or at least I told her, just to be able to get her... To even think about getting her mama on board, was that she needed to come up with a plan on what she was going to do to...
Hey, Freedom Homestead.
Raise the money to be able to get the tortoise.
Right.
How she was going to go about taking care of it.
Be able to pay for the food.
About how long was it going to take for it to be able to go from the aquarium to an outside pen, and how she was going to, what she was going to build and do that. Do the research of it. And
exactly, April. That's what I'm talking about.
April, you're not helping.
That's exactly like...
Yeah, but look, tortoises are actually... I mean, they saw dinosaurs. They saw Jesus.
Oh.
I mean, they're on the ark.
I'll concede. Just don't keep it around me where I'll be startled by it.
Okay. It'll be in a pen.
Yeah, that's what you say now.
Yeah, until Carol gets a hold of it and puts it on your mom's pillow.
That's my sister.
That's the problem. I can see that happening. I can see a wheelbarrow inside with my tortoise in it. And then seeing it on the bed.
Anyway.
Look, you're going to be graduated from college by the time he gets that big.
Exactly.
So
It would have to be a little bit. I mean,
So, let's talk about... No. Anyway, alright. It's been almost 2 hours.
Okay.
It's time for us to get off. It's been fun visiting with all of y'all. That tortoise is going to be Robin's pet before it's over. They'll grow old together.
now, before we leave, we did not do a giveaway tonight because we wanted to give everybody the opportunity to get in on the email list, and make sure, if you're already on our email list, make sure you send us an email with the name that you want on the wheel. Daryl from Two Family Homestead showed us how to hook up the wheel, and let me show you. I got it right here. Well, no, I can't do it right now. But I don't want to put anybody's email address on there or your personal name
So you're going to need to look into that.
on there. I want it unless that's what you want. But I prefer just to put channel names on there.
Some people's channel name is their name,
So please, I'm going to give you the rest of this week. Email us with the name that you want on the wheel. Make sure that you email us.
Oh, D! That is not cool. Francine, if you'll email us, it's bigbearfarms@hotmail.com. And just put in there that, I think Mimsy just put it up. If you'll just put, RE the wheel and let us know, and then we'll be able to add you to the list. What is the wheel for, Jason?
Okay. Go ahead.
thank you, Miss D.
The wheel is for our giveaways. We are going to be trying to give away something at least every week. And how you get your name on the wheel is by joining our email list. And our email list is very simple. You send an email to bigbearfarms@hotmail.com, and we will send you emails anytime we put out a new video, or when we're going to go live, or if we have a special announcement.
Can mods win? Absolutely.
Yes, mods can win.
Now, one thing I noticed, and I haven't told Jason this, but we had a couple of people that emailed us at the Big Bear Homestead at Gmail. If you emailed that email, if you could, I'm trying to transfer everything over, but if you think you emailed that email address, if you'll email the Big Bear Farms at Hotmail, that will make it a lot easier.
Yes. bigbearfarms@hotmail.com. Big Bear Farms.
You are welcome with love.
Trip H.
Guess what's on our menu for tomorrow night? Nope.
Elderberries?
Nope.
What?
That easy cheesy casserole they made at the Homesteading Live conference. With the chicken and the shrimp. Is that chilanophobia? Chilanophobia? Yeah, cheesy stuff. Yep, that's what we're having for dinner tomorrow night. I'm gonna put it in the crock pot before we go to the thing tomorrow.
The thing.
For the tortoise fund. That's funny. What do you say?
Thank you.
I see where I stand in this debate.
You're a quarter of the way there.
Yep. You get so close because you have to have a tank. Because the tank that we have is not
gonna work.
Well, the one small, we do have a small tank in the
for the beginning.
For the beginning that she can start with.
Yeah.
Got that one.
And then we got to find out where you can buy one. And then there was a good point that was made. Somebody said that some states require that you have a permit for a tortoise. So we definitely need to look into that just to be certain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, that's awesome.
All right. Well, tell everybody good night.
Good night.
We'll be in a minute.
Yeah. Night, baby.
Yeah, we've got a good week of that's one thing before we leave that I wanted to say that's pretty neat that we've been doing. Every Saturday or every Sunday, but today we did it Saturday. We sit down and have a family meeting and we lay out what the menu is going to be for the week.
What? Say what?
Hate to say it, but we may be moving closer to y'all soon.
Oh, call. Now you got my... Call me.
Now he's interested. He wants to know what's going on. So, yeah, so we basically sit down with everybody and tell everybody about cooking, what everybody's going to be doing, whether they're cooking, washing dishes, cleaning. The whole family's involved.
Each family member has their own composition notebook.
Yeah, that's Jason's. This is Ladessa's. Mine's in the house.
Okay. And we have certain chores to do. Let me see if I can pull this
We
out.
separate out the laundry.
Yeah. So we have certain chores that everybody's responsible for. Okay? Like the laundry, the towels, colors, bedding, jeans, and socks. Because, wow. Socks in this house.
It's ridiculous.
Is crazy.
It is. It's ridiculous.
And I'm curious, like Freedom Homestead, in a week's time, do y'all have like a massive amount of socks to do? With us, I guess it's just because of our lifestyle.
7 pairs.
Right.
That's 35 pairs of socks in a week if you only wear one pair.
Right.
Some people change because they might get them dirty or whatever.
Yeah. And look, our girls do not like to put on shoes. They will put socks on because their feet get cold and then they right outside in bare socks. You know what? But that's okay because I got something for them. Because this year, I'm going to get, whether it's deer hide or beaver hide, they're getting moccasins.
Yeah, they need, Carol does very well in moccasins. So.
But like, for example, my responsibilities this week are I'm in charge of making sure the towels get done. Now we do towels twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. We got 5 people in this house, and I do not reuse a towel. I'll be honest with you, I don't, because here's the one analogy. Ask yourself, where is the last place you dry? And then what's the first thing you dry? You reuse a towel, you're not going to remember what part of the towel you used. That's just me. So I don't reuse towels.
I don't care because if I did the right job washing myself in the bathtub, it shouldn't matter what I'm doing. You got it, D.
I'm also in charge of on Monday. Now, like for our dinners, we don't break out breakfast or lunch this way because breakfast is like most of the time I'm still intermittent fasting for breakfast. I usually just don't eat breakfast. And the girls and Blaze, they're usually just toast, cereal whatever
pancakes, egg sandwich, whatever.
Lunch is usually something light and quick, especially with it being hot. Sometimes Mom is here, sometimes not. So our big meal as a family is dinner. And everybody is involved in a certain way.
Right.
For example, tomorrow we're having crock pot easy cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Triple H thing.
Yep. Triple H. Yep.
Okay. Carol is in charge of prep work. That means if there's meat in the freezer, it's her responsibility to make sure she pulls it out the night before. She's in charge of doing any dicing, slicing, cutting, chopping.
If anything needs to be browned or anything like that, she does it.
She's basically a sous chef.
Right.
Okay? Mom is going to be cooking. So she's going to be in there barking orders at Carol, and she's in charge of the overall meal. So if it tastes like poo,
I'm blaming Tasha.
We're all going to blame Mom and pick on Mom for the next 24 hours. Then you have to do the dishes, right? Well, my job tomorrow is to wash the dishes. Blaze is drying, okay, and putting them up.
Bye, Professor. Bye, Mama.
Then we have a position what we call rover. That is basically the rover's job is to make sure the stovetop is cleaned off, the counters, the cabinets, they sweep and mop the floor, and because we have kind of like hardwoods and tile all over the house, they do the final sweep and mop of the floors.
Because we track dirt in every day. The
foyer, the dining room, and the living room. And they also have to wipe down the dining room table and the benches and stuff after dinner. And then we have somebody that inspects. Now, usually the person that inspects is also the chef of the night to make sure that everything was put away properly, nobody cut any corners, and everything is good to go.
Everything's
Secure. And we do that for every dinner. Now, I have fun with this, okay? Mama Oldways made me an apron. It's United States Marine Corps apron. It has all this different stuff from Marine Corps. I put on 80s music, and I'm in there singing, dancing in my apron, and I'm having a good time. The Thursday night, it was me and Ladessa in there. Ladessa was the chef. I was the sous chef, so Ladessa was telling me what to do, and I was like, yes, chef, no, chef, I'm on it, chef. And it was building up her confidence, and she was having a good time with it, and she was developing leadership skills. She actually came over to me and she said, Dad, I need you to pick up the pace on peeling the potatoes because I'm ready to put them in and you're going to make things start to burn, so I really need you to quit playing around and pick up the pace. And I was kind of like, yeah, chef, and I was and because I was playing around, I was dancing to the music, I was just having a good time. And so she was cracking that whip. But you know what? She doesn't even know it. She was learning how to cook. She was developing leadership skills, and she was developing communication skills
and time management.
You know, all because we were in there just having a good time.
Yep.
Okay? And so we do that, and I have a good time with it. I enjoy it. Two family had a blast watching me in there dancing, singing, and acting a fool and saying yes, chef, no, chef, everything, and Ladessa cracking that whip. And I looked at him and I said, what did it hurt?
Yeah.
She had a wonderful time. She developed, her confidence level went up.
Right.
Her level of responsibility went up.
Well, and she had some ownership in the meal, you know, because it's her meal, you know.
And then we also break down other household chores like that. We have what we call room of the day. We divided our house up into 6 days of the week. We take the 1 day of rest. And each room on that day of the week, everything comes out and it gets cleaned from top to bottom. Now, there are
usually four people.
4 individuals cleaning this one room. So it's done in
15 But
45 minutes at
max.
most.
Yeah.
Unless it's the kitchen, because we empty the pantries and everything. Kitchen takes an hour, hour and a half. Okay? But when you move everything out of the dining room and 4 bodies attack it, you're wiping down the walls, you're doing the windows, you're doing the baseboards,
you're dusting.
Boom,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
And that room is clean.
Well, and the other thing is that it also, because you're having a good time, it goes quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys will put music on, and you got somebody dancing with the broom, and somebody dancing with the feather duster, and and shaking their, twerking while they're
look. I take the feather
windows.
duster and I hold it back behind me, and I'm like, I'm shaking my tail feathers.
Yep.
Shaking my tail feathers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carpenter ants. I have not seen any carpenter ants.
Carpenter ants, you really have got to do what they call exclude them. And that will help. They do like to chew on
Didn't need that mental image.
wood, so your borax sugar mix really doesn't help with them. Now the little black ants that they sugar ants or aka piss ants. If you take just a Coca-Cola cap and put 3 parts borax, the stuff that you get at Walmart to make soap, and 1 part sugar, mix it up and put it in there, that'll kill them.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Get out of here. Yeah.
All right.
I'm ready for ice water in bed.
Okay. All right, guys. Robin and I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Don't forget, you got the Homesteaders of America conference in 2 weeks.
We'll message you.
2 weeks? 2 weeks, right?
Yep, 2 weeks.
No, 3 weeks.
Nope.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yep,
2 weeks.
we're gonna be in soap making mode. So if anybody is due for orders of soap, now is a good time to put your order in, because we're making fresh batches to take to the conference.
HOA.
So
yep. We'll have all kinds of things there, and then after that, we are pretty much home for the year. So
Yep.
if you want to come and visit the homestead, come on by.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Robin and I want to thank you guys for coming, and we want to remind you to plant smiles,
Grow giggles,
and harvest the love. Remember to keep your love on. Check out these books. Be kind to one another. You don't know what that person's going through. And recycle, reuse, repurpose. Keep stuff out of the landfill. You guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend. We love you guys. God bless.
Good night, y'all.
You gonna come over here to